for Index Reviews. In this one I'm going to be looking at the 1966 Marvel superhero cartoons. Now there were 5 series that all pretty much ran parallel to each other, and each series was a series of its own character. So you'd have a series of Iron Man, for example. I will be a bit more specific actually. These are the DVDs you can see pretty much for yourself, which characters they covered. I'm going to break it down anyway into each series and how you can get them and what I think of them. Now there's Captain America, which was the one that aired on Mondays in America from the research that I've done. Tuesdays you had the Incredible Hulk, Wednesday you had Iron Man, Thursday you had Thor, which was quite appropriate, and Submariner would appear on the Friday. Now there's a couple of different versions of these that you can get. From what I understand, the content is pretty much the same, but there's different covers, different. I think they're different companies that release them. There's some that are done by Jetix, which this is the logo for Jetix, and there are also some that were done by Clear Vision, which is this logo here. You can see in the bottom corner there. I'll start off one at a time anyway. Now, just to kind of put this into context, this cartoon series was the first cartoon series that I'm aware of that covered these characters. Now, the cartoon series came out in 1966, and it was produced by Grant Ray Lawrence Animation, which went bust, I believe, in 1967, so it was the year after these cartoons came out, so they didn't really do any more. They only did like one series of each. There was a Spider-Man cartoon that they did a year after these, which was 1967, obviously, the year they went bust, and the animation on that was a lot better. In fact, you may even remember it being on TV. I remember these being on, and the theme, the Spider-Man theme. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. That was a company that did it anyway, so the animation on these ones, not the Spider-Man ones, but the 1966 ones, was very limited. It's been described pretty much as just being an animated comic, basically, because a lot of the time it's just a still and you'll have the lips moving or something else about it that's kind of animated, but the rest of it is just pretty much static, which in my opinion isn't necessarily a bad thing, because they took the artwork from the comics. I don't know if it was all the artwork or what. I know in some cases that was the case. For example, this bit from Captain America. One of the great things about the cartoon was the fact that they took the stories in some cases and literally the artwork from the comics that they had, in some cases just a few years prior, put into the actual comics. This one you can see was the first issue that linked Captain America in with the Avengers. It's something that's become very well known. Obviously what happened with Captain America, because he was frozen in the ice for some length of time and awoken at some stage later on by the Avengers, and this was how it appeared in the original comic back in the early 60s. And they took this and the artwork and put it into the cartoon, as you can see here.
Yes, don't you recognize it? It's the costume of Captain America.
The Wasp is right.
He's alive. His eyes.
Bucky! Bucky, look out! You can't kill Bucky, I'll smash you all!
Stop him! He's gone mad!
So as you can see, they used a lot of the artwork that was done by Gene Colan and Jack Kirby and all those other guys that did the comics back in the 60s for these. So, and the audio as well, I think they kind of, where it kind of lacked in animation, it kind of made up for it in the audio and the narration. It's kind of like an old radio show. You could probably just listen to this and not even see what's on the screen kind of thing, and it would still work. But anyway, I'm just going to now cover what is available on DVD and what you get and how you can get it, because there's different versions, and I own kind of a mixture. Some of the ones I've got are the Clear Vision ones, some of them are the Jetix ones. Now, the Captain America one.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. If he's led to a fight and a duel is due, then the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
This was pretty much
I would say this is my favourite. It kind of crossed over with the other characters. From memory anyway, it did more crossovers with the other characters. So a lot of these were pretty much Avengers, not just Captain America. You'd have him alongside the other characters. This one also, it has a lot of the characters like the Red Skull and Kang the Conqueror as well as the kind of main recurring bad guys. Each of these series is 13 episodes, and as it's released you have 2 discs containing all these episodes. I'm not sure about the edits on this. I don't know what the differences are between Clear Vision and the Jetix ones. I'm pretty sure they're the same, to be honest. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please put something in the comments and let me know. But I can't really compare both of them because these are the only ones that I've seen. So that's the Captain America one anyway. The Incredible Hulk one, there's a few different versions of this you can get. I got the Clear Vision one. I do like the fact that it's released in kind of like a green cover as well, which is pretty cool. The main recurring bad guy in this is the leader, which is this character here. He seems to be the main sort of bad guy in these cartoons. Now, what really makes this cartoon stand out was the opening intro. It was hilarious.
Doc Bruce Banner, melted by gamma rays, turns into the Hulk.
E.T. and Glamour Rays.
Wrecking the town with the power of a bull.
Ain't no monster clown who is as lovable
As ever-loving Hulk. Hulk, Hulk.
So you've got Dr. Banner, pelted or belted by gamma rays, turns into the Hulk. Ain't he unglamorous?
E.T. and Glamour Rays.
Unglamorous? What the hell is that? Is that supposed to be unglamorous, just with a different pronunciation so that it rhymes with gamma rays? Unglamorous? What the hell? It's quite hilarious. I remember watching this the first time and thinking like, what the hell? But it was the 60s. It was kind of it was an early on thing for these characters as well, so we will forgive them anyway for that. But it is funny anyway. The Iron Man was pretty good, and the intro to this wasn't too ridiculous. It was actually pretty cool.
Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with the heart of steel.
As Iron Man, all jets ablaze, he's fighting and fighting with repulsor rays. Amazing armor,
Iron Man.
a blazing bomber.
In fact, they did even use that theme in the films as well. Kind of changed a little bit, but it was kind of... I didn't know when I saw the film that it was taken from this until I watched this and thought that theme is in the film. But the main character, the main recurring villain in this is the Mandarin. So if you're a fan of that, and maybe if you're a bit disappointed at the fact that you didn't really get to see a Mandarin character as you expected him in Iron Man 3, you do get him in this. Now you can get the 90s series in a box set with the 60s series as well, if you want to. Similarly, it's the same with the Hulk actually. I'll just go back to that in a minute, but with Iron Man, this is just the 60s series, but if you want to get the 90s series as well, this is just the 90s series, which I'm not a big fan of, but I own it anyway. But you can get a box set, which I don't own, so I can't show you, that has both together. So if you wanted to own both, I would probably get the box set and not buy this one individually. They're released by the same company. It was Jetix that did this one similarly to this. So these are the individual ones, but like I say, if you want to get both together, I would just get the box set and not bother with these two. Similar to the Hulk one, this is just the 1960 series. You can get a box set with the 80s and 90s series as well together. And last time I checked on Amazon, it was about a tenner. And I bought this for, well, I got this given for Christmas actually, but I think it was probably about a tenner. So if you want to own the others, I probably wouldn't buy this one. I'd get that box set. But moving on, that was Iron Man that I've just covered anyway. The next one was Thor.
Cross the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the booming heavens roar. You'll behold in breathless wonder the God of thunder, mighty Thor.
The Thor one was quite good. It has Loki in it as well. He's the main recurring bad guy in this one. And again, it's all 13 episodes, and it's on 2 discs, so not much else to say about it anyway. If you're a fan of the comics of this era, obviously that's kind of pretty much what you get in these, just kind of slightly animated. The fifth one, sorry, I only just got this recently. It was Submariner.
Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere.
He can breathe underwater and go flying through the air.
The noble submariner, prince of the deep, will be ready every seaman. Lord Famer of Atlantis is the prince of the deep.
They do one crossover episode in this. That's one thing that I've not mentioned actually. In pretty much most of these, they have other characters like Ant-Man and Hawkeye and Black Widow. Submariner didn't really do that many crossovers, so most of these episodes are just the Submariner. There is one that does have Hank Pym in it, but he doesn't appear as Ant-Man, but you do see Hank Pym in one of the episodes, so there's a bit of a crossover there. There is one episode in particular where it's got Doctor Doom in it, and it also features the X-Men, and it's the early X-Men, it's not the uncanny X-Men that appeared later on in the 70s, I believe, but it's got Professor X and some of the early characters from that, and it also briefly features Thor and Iron Man as well. So that was a pretty good episode of this. I did like watching that, but the rest of them, I'm not a fan of Submariner, so I didn't really enjoy it, but if you don't mind the Submariner, you can probably get around, you can probably enjoy it more than I did. But this one is quite rare. It was a bit more expensive as well. This cost me almost £20 because it's quite rare. There's a few different versions of this. You can get some. It should be broken down into 3 volumes. There's another one that has like a few episodes in each volume, and it's a bit cheaper, but it doesn't cover all 13 episodes. I think it only covers like the first 10 or 11 if you've got the sort of individual volumes. So I think that if you do want to own them all, this is the only one you can get. And it does say the complete series featuring all 13 episodes at the bottom, so if you want them, this is the one to get, because like I say, if you get the other ones, you're not going to be able to get all of the episodes from what I can tell, because there's only a volume 1 and 2. I don't know if there's a volume 3 because I looked and I couldn't find it anywhere. Nothing really else to say about it. There is a website I would quickly just recommend called cartoonresearch.com, and it's got a really good article on this, and it features some of the original advertisements and TV station sales brochures that were sent out to TV stations to promote the cartoons and to try to get them to air the cartoons back in the 60s. So if you go to cartoonresearch.com, it's not my website, I'm not in any way affiliated with it, but I would recommend this article. It's just under the heading The Marvel Superhero Cartoons 1966, and it's got links to other things on YouTube. I could probably show you some of it on here, but I don't really want to rip off their material. Well, it's not their material, but I don't want to rip off their article, because you can tell they've done a lot of research on it anyway. So that's that anyway. I don't really have much else to say either. Like I say, if you're a fan of the sort of 1960s era of these comics, I would definitely recommend getting these. And if you're a fan of cartoons in general and superhero cartoons, I'd definitely give them a watch, because even if you don't like the animation, it's still nostalgic and it's pretty cool to watch. And there's quite a few laughs, like I say, with that Incredible Hulk intro, just that alone is worth watching these for. So that's pretty much my review anyway. I don't have much else to add, so thank you for watching. If you check out the website brandxreviews.com, there's plenty of other reviews up there now, and there's going to be plenty more to come, and I am going to be doing more Marvel animated stuff as well, because I've got quite a lot of those at the moment to go through. So check back in here for updates, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.
As I wrap this up for the end credits, I just thought I would include this. I did send a clip of the 1966 Incredible Hulk intro to a friend of mine who's got a 5-year-old son who's a big fan of the Incredible Hulk. I didn't quite know how he would respond to it, you know, with it being old animation, but this was the voice message that I got back.
I don't like that Incredible Hulk. It's really, really whoopee. Don't do that one again ever again. Bye.
Kids today, there's just no pleasing them.